Yeah, you just heard I'm Ronald McFarlane, GIS specialist with the city of Raleigh. Been working there since 2014. Work on a number of projects supporting data, math, spatial analysis, and recently we've been getting a lot more into various 3D projects. This is Jim. Oh, yeah.
So my name is Jim Albrecht. I'm the GIS and Web Program Manager with the City of Raleigh. Been with the city for about 3 years. Pretty passionate about 3D. Prior to being with the City of Raleigh, I was with the City of Boston for probably an additional 12 years. Doing a lot of 3D there. If you remember that client and some of the early ArcGIS and 3D analyst products, I was kind of playing around with those probably well before they were ready to be played with. But we're excited about what the future holds for 3D. So a little bit of the history of 3D in the city of Raleigh. So there's a history before 2011, but I'm going to just kind of talk about modern history here. So the city purchased a PLW ModelWorks photorealistic model for the downtown. I think it was about 4 square kilometers in 2011. We started to use that as just a mechanism to get people excited and engaged around 3D and its capabilities. Again, in 2011, if you kind of think back, maybe the technology wasn't such that really supported good interaction and immersion into 3D and analytics. But it helped to get the organization kind of comfortable and thinking about 3D. In 2013, the city had a project done where LiDAR was collected at not high resolution, but it was ubiquitous across the city. We started to use that to start to visualize 3D, etc. Since then, since Reynolds has kind of come on, we've started to engage on kind of modern technology. So this is the City Engine, the ArcGIS Pro, to actually implement projects that have been inputs to decision-making processes that we'll talk about later. This year, we received a new photorealistic model of 6 square kilometers. If you're aware, the city recently purchased Orchid Park, which is just south of downtown. And so we kind of partnered with our Parks Department and our Urban Design Center to kind of procure this new photorealistic model that we think is a good base to start to do some of this scenario building, analytics, etc. We'll show a little bit of that later. And then the pro stuff, which we'll also show later.
All right. So for people who don't know, City Engine's a modeling software for urban environments made by Esri, and it was really the foundation of our first real 3D project at the city for our team. The background of the project was the city was moving from a zone-based code to a form-based one, and there was this question over building heights. Downtown, there was 3 different proposals, and they were, at the time, reviewing them as just 2D maps. And our goal was to model all 3 of these different proposals in 3D to help the city make a better informed decision regarding building height limits and their policy decision regarding that. And so this is what they looked like, the original proposals in 2D. They're, it's easy to read, right? The colors are just you can tell this is 20 or whatever, but it doesn't really give you any perspective. It's try going outside this building and imagining what 40 stories or 12 or 20 next to each other are going to look like. So you're making a policy decision that's set in stone for the future of downtown on height limits, and that's what you're going with. So that was the big thing for us, was using this 3D model to add perspective. And 3D has always been a powerful planning and visioning tool, and it just really provides that context that you're not going to get with 2D. And this building height limits project we thought was a great opportunity to demonstrate the value of 3D modeling to stakeholders at the city. So we'll skip ahead to the model and talk about process in a minute. This is the first of three proposals, and if you just think about it in comparison to the 2D, it's immediately more impactful. I think the benefits of that are obvious. It jumps right out, and especially when you throw it up next to another one, and then you can really start to think maybe down there on Hillsborough Street, 20 stories was maybe not such a good idea. It might look good on paper, but now not so much. And on the map, the only thing that changes between the two proposals is the color, right? But in 3D, we get that perspective, that context, and it's more information for policy decision makers to use around urban development. So another great feature of City Engine is the ability to do analytics and reporting, where basically what they do is slice these buildings up into floors so that you can calculate square footage, gross square footage for a building, and then you can get analytics based on assumptions about how square footage relates to jobs or employment or tax base based on each zone use, and then change scenarios and compare that way. I just quickly want to note that typically City Engine is extruding these buildings on a parcel by parcel basis. We have dissolved the parcels into blocks for just to simplify the process, because this is like our first 3D project of this scale, and it was just how things went. Okay, so getting into the process a little bit. Obviously, Esri was a major partner in this. We couldn't have done it without them. The initial steps was to create existing conditions, so parcels, zoning, the 3 buildings we got from pictometry, set all that up. And then the City Engine part of it is the procedural modeling, which uses CGA rules, which is a shade grammar architecture that it generates building architecture based on, it takes 2D data and generates 3D models based on attributes in the table. So you take your parcel data, add fields around building heights and setbacks, apply this rule to it, and it just takes your 2D data and draws it up. So that's what we did, where we had 40 stories, setbacks down here, and then setbacks and setbacks. And you just apply the rule to all your parcel data, and it automatically extrudes it all.
So first off, I'm a shiny object guy, right? I like shiny objects, and 3D has always been sort of a shiny object. In this particular project that Reynolds just described, is a case where it's sort of shifted into actual value that's kind of common for this project. Right? I've always talked to decision makers about the value of 3D. It's kind of never delivered on that. This particular project was the case that it really delivered. So, as Reynolds mentioned, if you can go back a couple slides, for me, this is amazing, right? This is amazing that we're able to do this and that we're able to share this with decision makers who are making decisions about the future of our city, right? Reynolds was talking about, I personally don't know the difference between 40 stories and 400 stories. Those two things are the exact same thing. Until you're able to go back a different slide to say, hey, that building, go back 2 slides, that building, okay, I can now put it in context and start to help make educated decisions. So this was definitely an information input into a decision. So for me, this is transitioning from shiny object to value, right? So that includes 3 different things. One is tools and technology, right? So Reynolds started talking about city. The tools and technology are kind of maturing in a way that kind of are consumerizing 3D. 2 is data in processes, or data in people, sorry. So Reynolds and LiDAR data, some of the history I talked about before. And the third piece of that tool is the app. So does the city have an appetite to use this and leverage this in a way in their business process for making decisions?
So after City Engine, our focus kind of turned to ArcGIS Pro, which is an excellent tool that continues to grow as they add capability to it. And it's for us, it's always making 3D solutions easier for us. We've used it for 3D around 2016 we're still using it now. It supports the same CGA shape grammar that City Engine uses that I mentioned earlier. You can do things like LiDAR feature extraction, 3D spatial analysis, and one of the best things for us is how well it integrates with ArcGIS Online. It's really easy to just access your content from ArcGIS Pro or share things to groups or share web scenes straight from Pro to ArcGIS Online, and then the simplified geoprocessings via tasks. These are really cool. Let's start with LiDAR. So we're just looking at LiDAR data set made from 2 tiles from the warehouse district looking east over downtown. You can see the buildings down there. And it's really easy to work with in ArcGIS Pro, and you can do a lot of cool stuff. Tasks are what make this easy. So we're looking at published buildings from LiDAR. Over here on the left side, it's the instructions step by step with all of the input you need. You know, it's buildings, visual 3D modeling, DSM, and all of those layers were created in the previous step in the test. So if you don't know anything about LiDAR or 3D in general, as long as you have the data and access to a tool like Pro.
Which, if you're from the state of North Carolina, you have the data.
Yeah.
So the state recently in 2016 did a high-resolution LiDAR project. I'm not exactly sure on the logistics on how to get that data, but it's statewide.
If you talk to me afterwards, I can tell you how to get it. It's really good. It's easy. It's free. Yeah, so you can follow these processes. I mean, basically hold your hand through it and create your own 3D data. Extract buildings from the LiDAR, and they have roof forms, and they have other more advanced tools. If you go through the whole process, you can, using a digital terrain model, edit the roof forms to be even more accurate. You notice that kind of bigger building there in the back. I'm sure that's not what that looks like, but you can go through and cut up the roof and change the elevation of the roof to make it look like it's supposed to. And beyond buildings, you can do trees, and this is all just lead you straight through it with these tasks, which is definitely one of my favorite things about Pro. I mean, it's like a built-in tutorial essentially, right? It teaches you how to do. It taught me how to do several processes that I didn't know how to do previously, which is great.
So again, I'm a shiny object guy. So this is the case where it's delivering on the analysis side. So when we start to engage with the business folks, whether it be on the planning side, urban design, facility management, we need to be delivering good business value. And so some of these slides are some examples of where we're able to engage or advance the conversation by delivering just some analysis. They're not even asking for it, but just some analysis to potentially steal a conversation with them about, oh my God, I didn't know we could do solar exposure using these models. That's interesting. We're doing some solar panel installations. Can you help us kind of do some analysis to figure out where the best places to put them on? So this is an example. I'll tell you a real world scenario where we put this in front of some urban design folks, and they immediately started to talk about a new development that I think was happening like here, and how it would affect a proposed building and the solar exposure for windows on a different building. And so they were engaged, and we were able to kind of advance a conversation based on some analysis that we did that had nothing to do with the question they were about to ask. So Reynolds will talk more about this later. ESRI, huge partner in kind of bootstrapping us, getting us going. Jeff Taylor in specific. So our stormwater folks and sustainability and environmental kind of protection stuff. This is, they always talk about our inability to handle massive events, and they talk to decision makers, executives, etc., about what that impact might be. This, right, it changes the conversation, right? Oh, we're going to see flooding on blah, 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 blah street, blah, blah, blah. If you show decision makers, constituents, etc., this sort of visualization, they're like, oh, wow, we need to invest money in X, Y, and Z. It's the same conversation, it's just using different tools to help visualize.
And what's so cool about this is you put all this together, all these analyses and various data layers together in ArcGIS Pro, and then just share all of it at once to ArcGIS Online as a web app like this. So these two analyses you just show it all in here, plus this bunch of other greenways, wetlands, onboard, and so you have this 3D base map with all these various layers and analyses, and you can just share like that to ArcGIS Online. And this sweet web app.
So for me, this is the goal. I was talking to a really smart guy, and he said, hey, wouldn't it be great if you could answer questions with a URL? Right? We're using ArcGIS Pro as a mechanism to publish data and answer questions with a URL. So this, we could put this together and start sending it to an assistant city manager on XYZ about putting a transit stop here, or whatever those things are. It's kind of the consumerization of not only the technology, but the data itself. So a new project that we got an award from Next Century Cities. The idea was that we would, again, along the lines of what I just talked about, the consumerization of 3D technology, we would build an app in conjunction with ESRI and NC State about sharing some of this zoning data with the public. Existing, so you'll be able to see existing conditions. What, where am I in the world? Can I see Fayetteville Street? Can I see the towers, etc.? Then can I see what the current zoning, what the available envelope of buildings would be? Right? That would be cool, which we can sort of do today. But imagine if you would let constituents change that zoning, interact with that zoning, and see how it affected the envelopes. Maybe run some of that analysis that Reynolds was showing about impervious surface, potentially most flow area of office space. Maybe do some scenarios on office space rental costs or the availability of housing units, those sorts of things. So that's the project that's the vision of what we're proposing, and we're in the kind of development stage now. So we can launch something in the summer.
Should I get on this one?
Yeah, go back a little bit. So this is the key, right? Citizen engagement. We're trying to interact with the citizens around our zoning process and giving them some ability to kind of interact with us, potentially make comments, see some of the things that our zoning folks go through on a day-to-day basis.
So this is a shot of something Ezra built Los Angeles, ArcGIS Pro zoning designer, that's kind of along the lines of the vision the picture we have in our head for what we want to do with this app. We can look at zoning 3D, we can really look at reporting, which I was talking about splitting them up into floors earlier. This is how it's done here. So when you have multiple zoning uses within a building, you can change the makeup or you can change it from commercial mixed use to residential mixed use and see how that affects your tax base or your number of housing units or your number of jobs, etc. It's a pretty powerful image to be able to look at here. Like I was saying before, the 2D map, you're looking at these mixed use zones as a single color. Or if you really want to understand how the space is being used, you need to be looking at it like this.
And currently this is all possible with Pro on the desktop, right? So we can all do this, you know, so Reynolds can do this at his desk, which is phenomenal. It's great that he can do this on the, at his desktop. But not everybody has the tools and technology that he has on his desktop. So how do we push the envelope on technology where we can push that capability out to the web so that given a browser and a keyboard, you can start to do some of these things from the comfort of your living room, right? And I think it's the idea around the project.
So this project has really been all about collaboration, right? We've been sort of chugging along with our 3D efforts for the past year or two. We get this grant, partner up with NC State, you know, eventually we officially bring Esri on as well, and it just sort of has propelled the whole thing forward. Like, things are moving really fast now. We're supposed to go out there to their prototype lab and really spend a few days developing this application. And this, you know, I don't know how we would have ever done this without this amazing partnership. And you know, it allows us to pool time, resources, ideas, etc.
No, just, you know, there's supposed to be a video here, and the video is this grandmother who's holding a Great Dane by a leash, and all of a sudden the Great Dane takes off, and the woman just flies into this grandmother, flies into the air. And that's really the partnership. The partnership is sometimes we're the dog in that scenario, and sometimes we're the grandmother. And it doesn't matter which one we are, we will both end up in the same place, which is forward, right? And so we think we're pushing NC State's pushing us, Esri's pushing us, we're pushing them, and we all end up in kind of a better place from a technology perspective, and hopefully the citizens of Raleigh benefit.
And just, yeah, that's it. It's not. We're just going to do it like this. I don't know what I did. Yeah, there's only one slide left. So.
It had his phone number. Yeah. It's 919-996.
2522.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah. The LiDAR
data?
I got it from Hope Morgan at NC Risk Management. I can write this down. I can write it down for you. Right. Exactly. You can download it straight. It is free. So we got the whole county at once, so I had to go drop off. You can mail it to her. So I went and dropped it off, and she gave it back in 2 or 3 days. And she gave me all the DEMs and everything.
What's that?
I can find it and give it to you. Yeah. You want the address, the web address? Yeah, I can find it. Yeah. You guys gotta. We're about out of time, but I'll pull it up and find it and give it to you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks very much.